As long as it's in neutral, it's fine. Just don't run me over. All right, we are finally back on Elvin's TT manual swap Z. Yeah, this is part 5, I guess, and this is first fire up. Really quickly, I'm going to go over everything we've done. Obviously, we got intercoolers in. I'm not sure we had those last time, but we did all the piping. We had just the fronts in before. Now we did all the rest of it. All the wiring's in. For TT, you do need a different rad, so we got the TT rad in there. This is an aftermarket one of the better ones. Also, things like this. This hose is different, so we have to get a TT hose for that. Elvin just doing everything right, just got all silicone stuff. If you're doing TT swap, you don't have to do the dual intake. Obviously, we're going for a decent amount of power, so we're doing that. Bunch of things that you don't have to do for the TT swap, but Alvin decided is doing a catch can system for the crank pressure. You can just run the stock system, it's fine, but whenever you can totally eliminate something, it's great, especially anything that might get oil in your intake. So he went to the atmosphere catch cans, which are really sweet. He had a really cool setup of them. I think looks fantastic. Yeah, also did fuel pump. We got TT fuel pump in there because you need a TT pump. Doing a TT swap, a lot of stuff, but really it's not that hard. Now that we're here, we pulled the fuse for the fuel pump over here. That first one's the fuel pump fuse. Oh yeah, and we got a boost control. He installed the Greddy boost controller, so whatever kind of boost controller, or I guess you could do a stock boost solenoids if you wanted to. It's just a lot easier to run a boost controller instead, so that's what he did. Yeah, now we're gonna just turn her over a bunch, make sure we get some oil circulating, and then we're gonna go for first fire up, and hopefully she goes well. So here we go. As long as it's in neutral, it's fine. Just don't run me over. Sounds good. Yeah, sounds good. Sounds like she's pumping compression and everything.
This is just the fuse for the fuel pump.
I think you're good to go. Go for it. No coughs or nothing. All right, so we got no fire. So we hooked up this little thing. We got coil to a light to ground, trying to test out to see if we have spark. Seems like we got no spark, and we got a lot of fuel, so trying to change out the PTU. We're hoping that's our issue. We find out. All right, we got a new PTU in. We just got it plugged in. If it works, great. We'll hook it up.
We're not near the plant or anything?
Nope. Should be good.
Nothing else on top? We're good?
Should be good to try. Nothing. All right, we got an update. And we got the cover back on, which is bad news. Long story short, we didn't have spark. Went over the things, tried a new PTU, didn't work. Tried to run the codes and wouldn't run the codes. So we tried a different ECU, which we knew we couldn't fire with because it had, a chip for stock injectors, so we couldn't run it. But we just wanted to see if it would run the codes, and it did. So we thought, well, we'll try even another ECU that is a manual, because the one that did run the codes was an auto ECU, and we did an auto conversion. So I wanted to eliminate that difference in the ECU. And even the manual ECU ran the codes, but again, doesn't have the right chip for the right injectors. So we have an ECU issue, which freaking sucks, because now we can't fire it with the ECUs we got. So today, unfortunately, we got to leave with no fire, but I got an ECU with the right chip. It's just at my storage an hour away, so I'll be there later this week. We'll pick that up, and we'll try again for round 2. And hopefully that time it goes better. All right, we got a new day. We got a new ECU. We actually plugged in his chip into a socketed ECU, and we still would not run the codes. So we're thinking Possibly when the guy soldered in the chip to the other ECU, something got fried and he wrecked it. So super unfortunate. But now we put just the chip I had on the shelf. We stuck that in there, which should work for the injectors and everything, and ran the codes. So we think it's gonna work. So come on, girl. So I'm just punching out this video edit and realized I never explained what happened right now or right in this section. Basically, we ran the codes right after this and we weren't getting any signal from the cam sensor, the crank angle sensor, whatever you want to call it, CAS. And so I just basically wiggled the wires and then it all of a sudden picked it up and we were good. So I disconnected it, cleaned all the terminals, plugged it back in, and then it seemed to be reading fine. And back to the video. Let's do it. Third time's the charm. She sounded good, actually.
Did it?
Yeah.
I mean, it felt good. I was watching the oil pressure just come up. I was like, come on, come on, come on, come on.
Yeah.
The oil pressure came on.
Yeah. Well, there's no ticking or anything like that. Like, yeah, she sounded freaking pretty good.
Real good?
Real good, yeah. She sounds healthy. She sounds healthy. That's how they all sound without an exhaust. All right, there she be. We got her running. Twin turbo swap is, for the most part, done. I mean, I still got to put an exhaust on her. I'm building that for them. And whole front end still needs to get put back together. We're doing JDM lights. That's why they're off. Not really part of the swap, but just why it's off. And he does have a JDM bumper, which may get on this year, might be next year. But hey, it's always a progress or always a project. So yeah. But she's alive, she's firing. I'll do another video once he's got her on the road, making smoke and everything probably. But yeah, freaking couple minor hurdles to overcome, some electrical stuff, but nothing too big of a deal. And sounds great.
Sounds phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Twin turbo swap, a lot of work, but worth it.
Yes.
Worth it. And it's a lot of work if you do everything. If you just drop in all stock stuff, it's a lot easier, but hey, why go halfway?